Germany marks first ever quarter with more than 50% renewable electricity. Das ist ausgezeichnet. Excuse me, but holy shit. O_O. Germany's getting it so right lately. Edit, you guys really wanted to say the same thing to me like 40 times, huh? Keep it up, Germany. What, this can't be right. Some nutcase on Reddit tried to convince me earlier that renewable use in Germany was decreasing because the wind doesn't blow in Germany, and the sun doesn't shine on Northern Europe. Surely nobody would have lied on a prominent social media platform like this. I'm working in a company building the infrastructure needed for this. Yes, it could go faster, but it's insanely complicated to decentralize electricity production and allow every small producer to sell their power on the grid. For the next 30 years, there is still a lot to do. And I'm glad to be part of it. 52% of electricity from renewable sources. This is impressive. Wish more countries follow Germany in this, particularly USA and China. It's really funny how the nuclear lobbyists turn up in every thread about renewables, all blabbering the same old bull over and over again while Germany keeps proving them wrong. People keep telling us that intermittency makes RE unsuitable for grids. But history, https://about bnef.com/blog/peak emissions are closer than you think and heyracy/ doesn't seem to support that theory. 2 decades ago everyone assumed that the cost of managing intermittency would soar after the first 5% of wind and solar entered the power mix. A decade ago we thought the inflection was 20%, now we know it is not this side of 40%. Modeling exercises around the world suggest that it is not until you reach 80% or more in any decently connected grid that the cost of managing intermittency really starts to go vertical. If 80% really is the number, and it won't shift again by the time we get there, then great, let's do 80%. If we have to run a few NG plants a couple times a year, that's certainly an improvement over where we are now. Germany amazes once again. Removed. I guess they didn't want to be dependent to Saudi Arabia and Russia's oil. TBH, it's rather sad than good, we should be way above this already. Finally, some good fucking news. Can I just say, while good news, this isn't the astonishing achievement it's being painted as in this thread. It's actually disappointing it's taken them so long, and about half of their non-renewable energy production is still coal. Germany are performing averagely, https://www. Climate Change Performance Index. .org/ on climate change, they don't really deserve praise and this isn't very impressive, but it is welcome. For instance, Sweden and the UK each achieved this a long time ago and have actually eliminated coal, so are even better, and they're on a much better trend overall and performing better in most other sectors too. Germany is neglecting new wind power and relying on what it's already got while the UK is home to 7 of the world's 10 largest offshore wind farms, 3 of the 6 largest under construction and 9 of the 14 over 1 GW proposed. It's committed and actively working towards 40 GW by 2030, while Germany is doing very little to bolster their wind production. I don't like that other countries fly under the radar when they achieve something but then Germany does it and Reddit nuts everywhere. Germany is what the US should have become. Good job corporate America, corrupting everything and leaving the country in ruins for profit. But China and India aren't doing it. But think about all those fish with windmill cancer. Go Germany! Great job! Lead the way. Yes. This was great news yesterday. But and this is a big but. You need to know why we've passed 50% renewable energy this first quarter of 2020. February and March were exceptionally windy this year. We've had like 3 or 4 storms in a row blowing those wind turbines. Oh, and of course it was really sunny as well. Doing solar power a big favor. And, in case you've missed it, there is this fucking virus spinning around the world and a big chunk of the industry is shut down. So basically we've had the best conditions in wind and sun-based energy coupled with half the industry shutting down. The total power needed was way less than usual. So, in conclusion, Yes, it's great that we've reached 50% renewable energy. But it just was possible because of those very specific situation. When the virus will retreat and the industry will start getting everything running again, we won't be over 50% anymore. Like one of my teachers once said in school, read numbers but also understand numbers. Edit, this is literally in the first few sentences of the article linked. Comments had me like those informations were missing from the link. And the other half could have been C02 free nuclear instead of coal. It took me several reads of the headline to realize it was not about Germany using renewable energy to produce coins. Ugh, why can't we be more like Germany? The US has fallen so much in standards. After next pandemic from China, Germany will hit 100% renewable energy. And zero pollution. Let's learn fast. America should be leading this movement, but instead our business leaders are holding us to the back of the line. And France has had a lower per capita carbon emission rate for decades because they use nuclear power. Fun fact, we import energy from Russia, we are dependent on Russia. It's fun to act like we're on the right track, but a lot of it is just an act. Packing up our nuclear power plants and selling the tech/parts to other nations so they just rebuild them, in a less efficient manner, does not make the world a greener place. Selling our used cars and any car that doesn't hit the green mark to the Middle East or India does not make the world greener. Lying about emissions in VW reports does not make the world greener. As someone who works maintenance in power plants, I can tell you that what we do is a travesty. Siemens had developed the cleanest/most safest nuclear tech to date, and it got shut down by a rampant Green Party touting unconfirmed cancer studies. Meanwhile, in the UAE they are planning to build nuclear now with cheap and short-term measures, just like their oil and gas plants, which constantly have massive outages on individual units because they can't manage basic protocol. The unit manufacturers, Siemens, GE, Doosan, or Mitsubishi mostly, give them, out of sight, out of mind. That's how we in Germany see the world. We're doing so great, why doesn't the rest of the world do as great when we then move on to provide the rest of the world with our used goods? Meanwhile in America, I kind of wonder if more countries will invest in renewable energy to get away being reliant on other nations. After all, this virus has shown that globalization has failed, so it might lead countries to turn inward and be more self-sufficient. That is definitely a good thing in some respects, but it can also encourage leaders to hate and belittle the other in exchange for more rampant shows of nationalism. Leaders and nations can become more greedy and self-centered as they fight on the world stage for their own personal rights, which can also encourage militarism and a build-up of armed forces. As seen from nations like China. Oh goodness, prayers for you all. Bravo. This is amazing. Now if only the rest of the world would follow suit. That isn't quite an achievement, being latter part winter months. Well done Germany. This is great. In the U.S. I wish people would allow improvements. The governor of Massachusetts turned down the initial installation of offshore wind turbines because he didn't want to see them from his vacation home in Martha's Vineyard Island. Sorry about your shale oil companies going bankrupt though, America. That's a real bummer. Really sorry about that. Bummer. Don't mind me. I'm just an American thinking of an energy-efficient coin. It's almost like we should have switched more to that decades ago. Flattening the curve probably has implications in flattening the duck's curve. Lesson to be learned.